Hello everybody and welcome back to another LEGO City update. I've actually made a substantial change to one portion of the LEGO City, and no, it's not on top of the LEGO tables here. It's actually right underneath in the train yard. And we're going to be discussing those changes today, and then we'll also be discussing some plans that I have for this area in the near future. But the complete layout under here, meaning all the train track, has completely changed. I've also moved the structures and added a few additional train cars. So I'm super excited to continue growing down here in the train yard, continue adding some new rolling stock, locomotives, and changing the overall track layout. But I've actually completely changed the track layout as of now, and I think this is a new layout that we're going to be moving forward with in the future. It actually allows us to have a lot more, well actually one more engine running underneath here simultaneously, so now we can run two engines and have a bunch of different trains going around with different rolling stock at a single moment. So I currently have two active engines here in the train yard that will tow rolling stock around the track. Right here in front of us we have the blue cargo train, which is towing all of the somewhat custom rolling stock produced by the brick model railroader. This is sort of my first attempt into creating custom rolling stock. So this is the hopper car, which is the most recent kit that I completed. Right in behind that we have the bulkhead flat car in yellow. Currently doesn't have a payload, but that's one thing I will be working on in the future, is completing a payload for that, some wrapped lumber or something like that. In behind that we have a tank car in white, and then at the very back we have a caboose. So those are the four different brick model railroader kits that I've completed so far. I'm also working on the drop end gondola right now, or gondola. And then I will be completing multiples of each of these kits. As you can see, I have another tank car start and another hopper car start right there. I also will be creating some box cars in the near future. Now, in behind that is sort of the first train that I started creating a while ago. This is the heavy haul train, and it is towing somewhat custom cars around. We have this one here that has the big spools on it. This was actually, I think originally this was being towed by the cargo train, and it only had one spool, but I did alter it so that it does tow 3 spools around, or it can fit 3 spools onto the car. Right behind that I have some piping that is just attached to a flat car. And I believe this little brown hopper car here was from the heavy haul train originally. That is still in its original state. And then in behind that there's another little mini hopper car that is towing some grain around. Now, after building these BMR kits, I realized that I have a lot to learn with building custom LEGO trains, and I'm definitely doing a lot of research and a lot of YouTube video watching to try and gain knowledge on how to build different train cars for the train yard here in the LEGO City. So I actually have a few new projects that are going to be happening as soon as I finish up with these BMR kits, and I will be building a lot more rugged and durable train cars that can be attached to custom locomotives and be pulled or towed around here in the LEGO City and the train yard. So I have a lot more soul searching of what I want to do here, but I have a pretty good direction or idea of the direction that I'm going to be heading in the near future, and I definitely will be integrating a lot more train cars and custom locomotives here. I just have to get around to obtaining the parts and sort of know-how of how to build them, but I have a way better direction now that I've built those BMR kits. Right over here, there's a couple cars that are just sort of off to the side. We have the octane tank, and then there is the livestock in that one there. Eventually, I will be parting those out and using those parts toward creating better custom cars. And then back over here, you can see there are a few other things. There's another cargo train, and then a couple sort of surfaces that aren't being used for trains yet. And then there's another little box car back there. But once again, I will be taking most of that apart and creating some new custom rolling stock right away in the near future. The most substantial changes that were made to the train yard as of late was actually the physical track layout. So it now has 2 loops, so it can operate 2 different trains at a single time. So we're going to fire up these 2 trains here. You can see I've actually swapped the position of the locomotives. The reason being is the heavy haul train here actually has more battery life than the cargo train. And these BMR kits are really heavy, so they require a train with full batteries in order for them to be towed around the track. Now, you can see with the layout or the turn right here, I've tried to represent my own R56, which is a wide radius turn, by alternating turns and straight tracks. Just around here, you can see it's a wider turn. The reason I've done that is so that this large bulkhead flat car can actually make it around the track without being detached from its carts in front and behind. So let's get the heavy haul train going around here with the BMR kits. So now that I've created a wide radius turn there using some straights and some curves, it's able to go around the track quite smoothly. There we go. Now let's get the blue cargo train going here with the older customized rolling stock, and that'll go around the inner loop. Okay, so I just ran into a problem here. You can see the radius of which the bulkhead flat car turns, and it actually turned so wide that it ran into the blue cargo train. I know I could make a shorter version, I just like the overall size of that, so I will have to just make this turn come out a little bit wider. And when it comes out a little bit wider, then it won't run into the other track like that. Or come more this way, you know, more towards the sheet of plywood there. Now that brings me over here, which brings me to one more change that I made to the track layout. You can see my sort of traverses that go up to the top of the Lego City do not have any track on them right now. That's because I used all the track and all the switches to improve the track here in the train yard. But I'm going to remove this bulkhead flat car just so we can have both trains going around a little more easily there without colliding with one another here in this video. So there we go. I believe I have fixed the problem just by removing that very large bulkhead flat car. So now both trains can go around the 2 track circuits with ease. So yeah, as you can see, I didn't really give that any trial runs or anything like that. I just sort of freelanced it and let it go in this video, but they do pass by one another now, although this blue cargo train is essentially out of batteries. But before I take the batteries out and throw it out, I like to drain them right down, as it seems like it's a waste of resources to throw them out with a quarter battery life left. So the train circuits itself, the table down here underneath, well actually the sheet of plywood with the little legs for the train yard portion is 40 by 150 inches, so 40 inches wide by 150 inches long, which then converts in Lego plates to 4 base plates wide or 15 plates long. So there's a total of about 60 base plates down here, although I have used some of those larger 15 by 15, 15 inch by 15 inch gray base plates. I'm just going to turn that train off to create the layout. And then the track itself, you can see a lot of different switches here in the track. So I actually built, or this system here uses 10 different switch tracks, and those are all the ones switching direction all throughout here and connecting to the interior lines. And it actually connects to 80 feet of track. So there is just over 80 feet of track here in this little circuit down underneath the Lego City. And you can see there is a bunch of interior loops going from these switches. So for example, there is a couple switches right here so that the trains can switch direction right there. Also, there's a couple just different parking spaces right here for cars that aren't being used, such as that Octan one there. And then there's an additional loop right here for just sort of put trains off to the side where that orange one is sitting there. And they can also switch directions using that as well. And there is into the train garage there another switch so that you can park 2 different trains in the train garage. But this is a work in progress down here as I complete more of the BMR kits, and then I look into building some more custom rolling stock and custom locomotives as we move into the future. As you can see from this video, this actually shows realism. There was quite a bit of error. Not everything goes smoothly. Trains run out of batteries and trains collide with one another, but I'm not going to refilm it based on that, because that's just the reality. Is sometimes you get faced with challenges and you have to overcome and change things up to make it work. But stay tuned in the near future for a lot more great videos coming out here on trains. 2019, the remainder of it, and also 2020 is going to be focused on trains here in the Lego City. And I'm going to be absolutely going all out on creating new custom rolling stock. Like I said, I've been watching lots of YouTube videos and gaining lots of knowledge in the subject. And then we'll be building some custom locomotives as well. Thank you guys so much for the view. Let me know what you think of this new track layout here in the train yard underneath the Lego City. Let me know if you have any questions or anything also by commenting below. Stay tuned for some more great stuff, and we'll see you again in the not so distant future. Bye for now.